They told me hush, but I can't stay quiet. Eyes to the stars, my mind's a riot. They call me crazy, they call me wild. Alone in the sky, I'm searching high. Government lies, I won't comply. UFOs fly, and I ask why. The truth's out there, I'll find my way. No matter the cost, no matter what they say.
Hello and welcome to a new episode of FTO Podcast. I'm your host, Ezekiel Vacuo, and today we don't want to talk about a special remote viewing event or the results of a remote viewing. We're going to talk about different things. There is a pile of questions you asked us, especially in the last weeks, and I want to bring some light into the time or in the period what happened in the last weeks after the video of Skinwalker Ranch. When we released Skinwalker Ranch, we didn't expect that we got this that this had a huge impact on institutional viewers. We received a lot of inquiries and feedback from institutional viewers, not private users, but especially emails from newspapers and magazines who are interested in this kind of remote viewing. And there were interview related inquiries, and there also was a message we couldn't dismiss because it was an institution that's kind of important and kind of powerful, so we couldn't just dismiss it, and we had to work the results of the Skinwalker Ranch remote viewing up, and it was the impact for us. We are a small channel, and the impact was huge for us. So we received a lot of inquiries, as I told you, and one geologist contacted us, and he sent us data files that matches the theory or the results of the remote viewing with the intersection of magnetic fields in interdimensional or different worlds, parallel worlds. They had measured like anomaly, gravitational anomalies and magnetic anomalies in this area. And he sent me all the stuff, and that was a good feedback and good to know that you get a confirmation for your viewings. We also have a new intersection that it's called the Ezekiel Passage, or the intersection between both worlds is called Ezekiel Passage. And we found a new or another Ezekiel Passage that's very similar to the one in Utah on the Skinwalker Ranch. I'll get to this later. And yeah, the feedback for this video was in almost every case positive. So we had a lot to work with the answers. We get in touch with the senders, and there's one thing that worked out that's very, very positive, and I can talk about it because we signed the contracts this week. In February 26, 2026, a documentary about remote viewing will be produced, and I'm gonna be part of it. So this will be very exciting. This starts February 26th, the production. I don't know when it's available then, how long it will take. I'm quite new to this, so I'm looking forward to the production. So that's quite positive, and it's very exciting. And the answer to a question is, will you ever show your face? Yes, I will show my face, at least in this documentary, or if you reach more than 1,000 followers, I will do this podcast with face. I got my reasons for this, but either we do it if you reach 1,000 followers, or if the documentary appears first. I don't know what will happen first. Then I will show my face. Yeah, that was one of the of many questions we received. About the project, yeah, there are some changes that occurred during the last weeks. As you know, we are 5 persons who run this project, and it was founded 2003. And we came to the solution in good that everything that has to do with social media, YouTube, and documentary, I'm gonna do pretty much alone. So we have separated in good. There are also reasons for it. I don't want to mention here, but we're gonna keep on with the project. But I'm doing the social media stuff and the documentary and everything that has to do with it, pretty much alone. So at least there are again some changes. I don't know what the future will bring. So this is a huge change in the project structure, and we will see where this will go. First of all, before I go ahead, I have to say thank you to a tremendous support. Some of you send me emails quite regularly with suggestions for remote viewing and topics we can look for in with remote viewing, and the engagement is pretty cool, and I did not expect this. Thank you, and I will get back to the emails and questions you send in the near future. Sorry I couldn't respond in time in the last weeks, but I will work it up day by day and will respond to each email. Let me check my list. I put up a list in my cell phone. Yeah. Disclosure was a big topic in the last week. There was the hearing in September 9th, I think it was. I have a very, very strong opinion about disclosure. I believe Luna, Burleson, Rubio, and whoever is engaged in the disclosure process and pushes it forward. I believe they truly believe or good at heart for the disclosure process, but I think disclosure, how we wish it should happen, will never happen. And that is because the disclosure process is connected to a lot of money with patents, and the disclosure process is connected with national security. So I think the disclosure process, like we wish it to be happen, will never happen in the near future. For me, I believe, or I think that we are not alone for thousands of years, for a very, very long time. And I'm not sure if they are extraterrestrial or have ever lived here, but there is a species, a non-human intelligence that's in our company, or we are in their company for a very, very long time. And they have lived with humans for thousands of years. So I don't need a disclosure. I know they're here or they exist. I think what the people in the UFO community or who are pro disclosure want is that the other 75% finally get to know the truth, because people who are in the disclosure process, or whistleblowers, or people who believe in UFOs, are ridiculed for a long, long time. And I think there is a deep wish that people all around who have never been in contact with the UFO community finally know we were right. We have always been right, and we are no idiots or fanatics or jackasses. We are driven by revealing the truth, and people should know that. But I think the reality is very sobering. if you go back into the year 2000 or 2011, 2011 was a year where a lot of files were declassified um, from the CIA or from Great Britain, and there were files available about public official files available about UFO sightings, encounters, abductions, and so on for the first time. And I can't remember that this had a huge impact on society, or that the opinion about UFOs has changed a lot. If you live, and that's one of the questions I often get asked, why do you stream in English and not in German, in your native language? The reason is very simple. In Germany, you have a tradition of people who ridicule people who believe in UFO or who deal with the topic. In public television, there are always 2 or 3 experts that are invited, and they, for decades, they ridicule the UFO community. So the public opinion in Germany is now changing. More and more people asking, okay, it's probably more than the government or the public television is telling us, but it's not the majority. If you go in discussions here in Germany and they ask me about what I do in my spare time, and I ask them first how they get informed. That's my question. If they tell me they just watch public television or stuff like that, and they don't get informed from sources besides that, I would never mention it. They will give you strange faces and think you are crazy. So I think the public opinion in Great Britain, in Scandinavian countries, in the US, in South America, is the climate for us is much better than it is in Germany. Germany is like a developing country in UFO related questions. There are some good channels, though. I frequently watch. There is someone who covers all the news about whistleblowers and hearings and international news in Germany. His name is Harald Havas, or Harald Havas. He's from Austria. He's covering all that stuff that I wouldn't do. I wouldn't do that. I would never do that. What he does, his work is really, I think, kind of exhausting for me. It would be. He is covering all the news and statements politicians make, or UFO or UAP related news. He's covering all that and brings it in German language to the German audience, and I think it's very good. There are some others too who make pretty good work, but I've made the decision. I know it's kind of it will hurt your ears sometimes, but I think I get better from podcast to podcast. I get better. I get used to it, and I have to learn to speak more in English. And if I get the chance, I think it's getting better. So that's about why I don't do German podcasts or videos. The drones, another topic, is, I think, let me look it up. Let me check. Just a second. So, drones. I know we covered it in a report. I'm looking for it. Let me see. It was January. I know we covered it very early this year, and our opinion since then has not changed about the drones in New Jersey. I know there are some sightings now in Europe, in Germany, and in Denmark, I think in France and Sweden. New Jersey. Okay, here we go. It was January 16th. We published this article. UAP sightings near New Jersey and LA spark concerns. The government watches but cannot act. Yes. We know that drones who were seen in New Jersey weren't or were NHI drones, some of them, and some of them were government drones. They were launched from, let me see. Yeah, they were launched from ships or boats, unmarked boats from the nearby sea to offshore, and they tried to find out what are the drones they could not shoot down or investigate what kind of origin it is. They thought it was Chinese or Russian. I tell you, that's complete bullshit, because it wasn't Chinese, it wasn't Russia. There were NHI drones, and there were ground teams existing of, I think, 1 to 5 people, or 1 to 3 people, who collected debris, metal debris or fallout from the UFOs on the ground. So that's our opinion on drones in New Jersey. I have no opinion about the European drones yet, and maybe we're gonna do a remote viewing about it. Right now, they plan to set. The government in Germany plans to set the idea of going to the next step. It's like defense condition, DEFCON, the next DEFCON level, because they say, or they would justify it with the drone sightings and say there are spy drones from Russia, and they will justify to increase the level in defense condition. So I don't know if it's a politically implied, or is it, or maybe it's just Russian drones in Germany and in Denmark. Then I ask, if it's Russian drones with this technique, they cannot shoot down, or they cannot investigate because they have some camouflage techniques. They're not able, obviously, they're not able to find out what these drones are. If Russia had these technology, why don't they use it in the Ukraine war? So I think there's more to that. Maybe it's political, and maybe it's NHI. We maybe do a remote viewing about it. But for the New Jersey drones, we stick to our opinion from January this year, that they were or are still NHI drones involved. Yeah. Oh, yeah. When you asked me, why do you say, may peace be with you at the end? I think it's peace is the most important thing we're gonna have these days. I think it's so important to get back to the table, to talk to each other. I think we have lost the ability to discuss things. We have lost the ability to listen to other opinions, and we have lost the ability to correct our own view on things by listening to other arguments. And this has become very, very, exhausting, and it's a phenomenon we see since the corona vaccine. The society is so torn apart like never before. We have lost the ability to listen to each other, and I don't know why that is. I have some ideas why it is, but it's very sad to see that humanity is going this way. So I think peace is very important for all of us. And therefore, that's my wish after each podcast. So Oh yeah, there's. Let me check my phone. Yeah. Yes. My childhood. There was a interview on our website. It was actually no interview. It was a kind of to tell you who we are. In a form of interview, in the form of an interview. So let me see if I find it, or interview. Let's go. Oh, he is looking for videos, latest videos. Okay, I'm wrong. So, interview. Yeah. This was made as an interview, like interviewer and answer, to get to know us better. So we thought it was a good form to introduce ourselves. So here's something I was talking about, a incident that happened through my childhood. Let me see. Childhood, yeah. Right, here it is. There are two. If you, someone asked if I can, tell more about this incident in my childhood. Yes, I do. I will now. And as I wrote here, I was between 8 and 11 years old. I can tell this age range because we lived in a house and there is a room, and I lived in that room between the age of 8 and 11. So I can tell it happened between 8 and 11, and it happened in this room. So therefore I can identify or put the age range pretty close. So what I remember is, and let me say this, I always said I don't said it's an abduction or an encounter. It feels like it, but I always thought it was a dream. I was laying on the floor, and in this room, on a carpet, and I felt the carpet on my head, and I couldn't move. I was paralyzed, and I looked up, and I have seen this humanoid being. Like, it was old. It had I think it. I remember there were long hair, but few hairs, but long hair, and the iris of the eye was reddish. So it was not blue or dark. The eyes were slightly bigger than human eyes. Not that big, like from aliens or whatever, but they were slightly bigger. And that's this red iris. And the nose, I remember, was kind of tiny, and this creature or this being watched me in the face, and I couldn't breathe. I was watching seeing this face and was panicking, but I couldn't move. I was paralyzed. And then I remember after a few seconds, I went unconscious. And then, and that's something strange. For me, it was like 1 or 2 seconds later, I woke up and everything was normal. I think between feeling unconscious and paralyzed, I could not breathe. I was panicking. I was looking in the eyes, and I thought I would die. So I went unconscious, and then I woke up. Like I said, 1 or 2 seconds later, in my feeling, in my perception, and everything was okay. I jumped up, looked on my body if there's everything is okay, and the window of my room was open, and it was daylight. It was like 11 o'clock. It was not common that I would sleep at that time when I was 8 or 10. Usually I didn't sleep at that time. I remember it was midday, something around midday. And I remember this till today. Usually if you dream about something, you you forget about it. Even if you wake up after 10 minutes, you have lost any memory of that dream in most cases. So I still remember the situation. I still remember the face, the red eyes, and how I thought I gonna die. So I think for me, for a long time, I thought that was a dream. So the more, or when I started to deal with this topic, I always remembered this time, but I never connected it to a encounter myself, because nothing else happened except I could not breathe and the unconsciousness, and then I was okay in the next moment, like a blink. I was okay. So it is, if there is between going unconsciousness and wake up, was like a blink, and if I have lost time in between. So but there was another anomaly. I think it was 1 or 2 years earlier. I had this recurring dream of a scenery with no plants, no animals. There were just rocks, like big rocks, small rocks. And so it was a field of rocks in front of me, and there was a horizon. The light was like a cold light. It was a cold light. And it was, yeah, I don't know if it's was sunset or sunrise. I don't know. I couldn't see a sun. I only saw cold light. The sky was cold. The light was cold, not warm, like from our sun. And I was watching over the field. And the dream only lasts like a few seconds in my feeling, in my perception, because I tried to get over the first rocks and go further and further, but every time I climbed the first rock, the dream ended. I was standing on this scenery. I tried to climb the first rock, and the dream ended. And every time I woke up, I had a very, very bad, a very, very sad feeling. And today, as an adult, I know what this feeling referred to. It was homesickness. I had the same feeling as if I feel homesick. And back then, I didn't know what it was. I didn't know the the feeling. I couldn't interpret it. I couldn't figure out. I only knew every time I woke up, I felt bad. So I felt sad. It was a very sad dream, and I always thought this dream came for, I would say, with a distance of many, many years. I would say it's like came up for a few weeks and then disappeared completely. But there was always the same scenery and always the same feeling after I woke up. So that were the two anomalies in my childhood. I don't know if they're connected or maybe they were both just dreams. No, I don't say that it has anything to do with NHI or encounters or stuff like that. I just tell you how everything was at that time and how I felt and what I experienced. So I have no idea. It's hard to to um, to review such things for your own. It's better if people from outside would review what happened. If they review or watch or investigate these events. If you do it for your own, it's not objective. It's subjective. It's not objective. So I don't know. Maybe someone who is familiar with it, or maybe has the same experiences, can send me a message, or if you know what could happen, can send me a message. I know there is a folklore in Europe. It's called the Alp. The Alp is sitting on your chest, and you can breathe. That's folklore since the medieval thing. Maybe it's that, but they were not sitting on my chest. They were hovering over me, not touching me. Nobody touched me. And I just looked in the eyes, looked in the face, and thought, this is the end, because I couldn't breathe. It's like it's like a fish on the air, you know, not underwater. So you try to get air, but there's nothing going into your lungs, so you think you're gonna die. That were the two, if you want, so my my childhood anomalies. Oh yeah, the new Ezekiel passage. I just checked my phone. We see notes. Yeah, the new Ezekiel passage is something I want to talk about right now. And I I think. Oh, wait, just a second. So, we found in a remote viewing, we remote viewed a place and found out it's the same or the same intersection like on the Skinwalker Ranch. And I'm going to tell you what it is in just a second. Let me just pull up the place. Okay. It's in Europe. It's called Klosterneuburg. It's in Austria. And it's a place. Okay. We found the place, the intersection right here. And what's more striking is that it's called 12 Apostle. Oh, let me check what is. Let me just check what it is in English. Just a second. So. It's a word I barely use. No, that's not. Okay. I would translate it. Google Translate wasn't helpful, so I translated for my own. It's called 12 Apostle Mine. So it's like a mine. It's very close to this place. Let me pull it up. It's in Germany. If you're looking for it in German, it's called 12 Apostelzeche. It's right here. Okay, it's Klosterberg Monastery called. So right here, there is a huge underground structure underneath this monastery. And Dr. Heinrich Kusch, I can recommend Dr. Heinrich Kusch in, wait, Heinrich. I can recommend the studies of Dr. Heinrich Kusch. Right. So, yeah. Here it is. That's Dr. Heinrich Kusch. I think this is his wife. He's an archaeologist and historian, and he has studied underground structures for decades, since 1973. He studied underground structures in Asia, all over the world. And he studied this structure under the 12, let me pull it up again, into the Klosterneuburg Monastery. It's the biggest or the largest structure, underground structure in Europe. And since we got documents from the medieval, like the 15th or 16th century, where they're talking about portals under the earth. underneath the earth, and they could travel through portals to different places all over the world. These are documents from the 15th and 16th century, and they date back the structure. Dr. Heinrich Kusch dated the structure back to 60,000 years. Some scientists say it's 8,500 years. And they have found statues in the soil from I think it's Ubadia. Let me pull it up. Real quick. Ubaid statues. Yes, Ubaid statues. He found statues from the Ubaid area in the soil of this monastery. And he dates the whole place or the underground structure back to 60,000 years. And if you look for him, it's Dr. Heinrich Kusch. There are some very interesting videos of him on YouTube, and you can watch them. I think in German, but you can translate them into English over the caption function, and that's quite interesting. And we were remote viewing this place and found out this is an intersection. This is an Ezekiel passage, like in on the Skinwalker Ranch. But what we don't know, if it still exists or if it is long gone, because the magnetic fields seem to appear and disappear. So we don't know if it's still, the passage is still available. What they found out is that they had frequencies there. They couldn't take over devices. There were anomalies in this area. They couldn't find outside the monasteries. They only could find these frequency anomalies inside or underneath the monastery. Maybe the reason, because it was a sacred ground, they built the monastery above it. And what's more interesting is, if you go like about 200 miles east, west, if you go 200 miles west, there is if it's 200, I don't know. So there is the Untersberg is his name. And if you Google it, it's quite interesting. It's like Mount Shasta. And in the medieval, there are documents about people getting lost from 1 second to the next in this area here, and were never be found again. And that's quite interesting because it's almost on the same latitude or altitude. Yeah, should be around here. Should be around. Yeah. So that's quite interesting in Austria. You know? That's the Ezekiel passage, but we don't know if it's still active or not. So it's so back to the monastery. That's the place. Yeah. So if you're looking for the next passage, and if you want to study it and read what's about it on the internet, try this one, and you will have a lot of information about this place, and it's very, very interesting, and you don't expect that in Europe. Here's the monastery. So let me check if they have probably no photos. Oh yeah, here they are. This is how it looks today. They just built the monastery above the structure, and this is underneath this monastery. There's a structure that's the biggest in Europe, and it's huge, and they are a lot of information from the 15th and 16th century about people getting lost or traveling through portals underneath the earth. Imagine this thought evolving in the medievals. It's kind of strange, and it doesn't fit into the time then. And what they wrote about how they built this structure is very, very interesting. They are talking about, it's called the Tatsal worm. They said the people who made the tunnels had a worm who was eating rock. They had a giant worm in their hands who was eating rock. So if you live like 600 years before our time and don't know what a drill is, or mine industry, and you have people who can just carve rock or dig into rock like it's nothing, you think they have something like a rock-eating worm in their hands. That was their interpretation of the devices they had at this time. It's so interesting if you look into the documents and what they say. And so I recommend Dr. Heinrich Kusch if you want to know more about it. So let me check my phone if I got more topics we have to talk about. No, I think that's all for today. Yeah. I hope you liked the Realtalk and the mixed topics. I hope you enjoyed it. and I hope to see you next time. Have a good time. May peace be with you. Bye bye.